Welcome to Just Us Men, episode 5. We got a great episode for you guys. We're going to talk to Pedro as he is a new old man today. We're going to check in with Katie, Jonathan's wife, on the pregnancy journey he's having. And we're going to close out Heart Month with talking about my daughter and everything she went through with her open heart surgery and how it affected our marriage and our relationship. And hope you enjoy our episode. Grab a drink, sit back, and let's go.
Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's time to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go.
Welcome to Just Us Men. We got your host, aka Yoda, Jonathan.
Old man.
Just turned an old man, Pedro, and I'm Jason. Oh, man. Congratulations, brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
30 years
Thank
old,
you.
man. How do you feel?
25.
There it is. I like it. Yeah, that's my man right there.
I can't complain. I mean, a lot of people talk about 30 like they don't want to get there, stay in their 20s, hang on to their 20s. My wife and I, we talked about a lot with us both hitting 30 and, what it means to us. And, it was really it's a upbeat transition. We're not really like, our 20s. We're looking at it like, 29 going in 30. There's really not much more we could have asked for in our 20s. I mean, everything, we were able to accomplish.
You guys accomplished a lot in your 20s, bro.
Yeah, you did.
It was
amazing.
It was a good 20s. I was able to celebrate 10 years in business before I ever hit 30.
Huge accomplishment.
Thank you. Our first daughter, I mean, we're looking at making our change to our second home, our more forever home. It was our starter home that was going to be a few years, and this January we hit 6 years in it. So it's time for that change.
I'm still trying to talk you out of that, but all right.
Yeah. But I'm not looking at it anything bad. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna miss my 20s. It was a win. It was a success.
Yeah, for sure.
For what we did at our age, there's no complaints. I'm ready to see what we have in store for us at 30.
You know what's funny is when I turned 30, I was like, good. I don't want to be around any 20-year-old idiots anymore.
Right.
Just my thought. That was just like, I don't want to be that guy. Everybody looks at it, oh, you're still in your 20s. You don't know anything. Like, finally, I'm in my 30s. Now I'm in my 40s. Like, slow down. Slow down here.
50s coming quick.
Oh, man. No joke. That's why I keep having kids, man. You keep me young.
I'm still surprised on that. Like, how's Katie doing?
She's good. Actually, things are a little bit better than it was before. Nausea and stuff like that slow down. She still gets it, but it's not like it was. I did find out a new thing she has, and I thought she was making it up. She kept forgetting things and, getting confused. And
it's like pregnancy brain.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah. No, it's a thing.
It is a thing.
Crazy. It's a
thing. She kept on making that comment. I'm like, okay, but I mean, I'm not even lying. Like, we'll get out of the elevator and she's just like, which way? And I'm like, oh, good gosh, what's going on? That's me, dude. I get out of the elevator. I'm like, where are we at? And she's doing it. I'm like, now we're really lost. No, but
don't go on a cruise ship.
I know, right? But no, she kept making that comment, and we're at the house, and my oldest's mom was over as well too. And she goes, man, she was talking to her about it, and when she said, oh, that, are you serious? You actually have it and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, seriously, is that for real? I thought she was just making that up. She goes, no, it's real. So I started Googling. I said, no crap. Okay. I thought she was just making excuses, but yeah, man. So that's a new fun adventure, but it's not too bad. It's definitely a lot better than everything else. She'd been going through the mood swings of,
hormones, remember?
Hormones. Hormones that pretty much, calm down and stuff like that. So, that's, we're back to about normal.
Okay. Was she able to start working out again?
They did tell her she could, but she could she does the Orange Theory. So they said no running, no jogging. You can walk, and she's just
you can only do so much.
She's so
Was that
disappointed.
you had Orange Theory or no? Still
no. She didn't go. She's thinking of something else. I know she's really let down. I mean, because she really did enjoy all that, and now she's just like
maybe aquatic.
I don't know. There's a place next to Orange Theory that she kind of glanced at and looked like I don't know if it was, I don't want to say older women, but I mean, it's definitely not an Orange Theory type thing.
Right.
But at least she's doing something.
It's something.
And that's what I told her. I said, I know one of the things you really liked about Orange Theory is getting out of the house.
Yeah.
And she was just like, Yeah, true. So I said, I don't care. Go over there, walk. I don't
Go
care
to
what you do.
go to the park,
If you
I
want
don't
a break,
care.
go. Yeah, no joke.
Yeah,
So
man, dude, man.
it's been
Sounds
good.
like improvement.
It is. Yeah, for sure.
How's the baby doing?
Which one?
Like
The one that's still
the one that's
swimming
still
around.
swimming, the one that's swimming
Yeah, we've had nothing but good news so
Okay,
far.
good.
You know, nothing negative. We still have tests and stuff that we still
Yeah.
waiting on or whatever, but
Yeah.
so far everything's been going good.
That's good, man. I'm glad to
Mhm.
hear that, man.
Thanks,
That's
sir.
good. That's
Appreciate
good,
it.
man. It's you know, dude, having a baby, it's amazing. It's an amazing blessing.
Yeah.
But it's scary as hell.
Yeah.
It's scary. You don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
You don't know, you just don't know, and until that baby's born, and even after that, it's
know.
it's to a new dad, it's worrisome.
It
It's
is.
scary,
Right.
and you don't know. I mean, like I mentioned before in the previous, clips that we did and the previous videos we did, my daughter had open heart surgery at 10 days old.
That's crazy.
And
That's scary.
during the pregnancy, there was nothing. Everything was
really?
fine.
Oh wow.
Everything was fine during the pregnancy. My wife was weird, man. My wife was concerned about her heart. And the whole time it was weird. I mean, we went through checkups and what do you call it when they and my wife hated it. Every time they said that. Geriatric.
Okay, yeah.
Every time she
Yeah.
go to them, she goes, "Oh, you're geriatric, so you
Yeah,
got to
you're
get more
old.
check." Oh, my wife
Yeah.
hated it. Every time she come back from a checkup, she's like, I hate when they use that.
Yeah, it's a
It's
thing.
just- it's a thing.
They literally told
Yeah.
Katie, "You're old. You're old now." So
yeah.
and she's like, "Really? Thanks." Yeah,
She hated it, but
Yeah.
she understood.
yeah,
So it actually kind of helped her because she got more care.
Yeah.
She got more views by doctors. She
Yeah.
got more checkups and things like that. One thing that frustrated me though is while she was pregnant, it was during COVID. It was 2021. So I could not go to one doctor's appointment. And dude, being a new dad, being the first time dad, dude, it pissed me
Yeah,
I did not make one
Pissed me
appointment
off.
myself.
Oh,
pissed me off. And I was like, come on, can I just be in the parking lot? Can I go look through a window? I don't care.
Right.
Nothing. They were like, no. And so thank goodness she found a place in San Diego that did the sonogram. Like you could still like with the mask and all that shit. You go in there and they do the
I didn't even
you
get
could see it
that.
on the projector,
wow.
which I was able to see my baby, through
Yeah.
a projector and stuff, which was cool. But at 8-9 months, she was about 4 or 5 pounds, about 4 point something pounds. And the doctors were a little concerned.
That's little.
And oh yeah, she was little. And they're like, oh, she should be grown. They weren't concerned, but they weren't concerned. It was kind of a weird thing. It wasn't till so we use that little. I don't know if you guys ever have that with your kids when they were pregnant. Your wives were pregnant. It was like that little. You could hear the baby's heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's like a little wand you put over the mom's belly.
I
So we
just
bought
laid
that.
my head on the stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, you lay
Hope
it.
for the
there's that.
best.
Dude, it's weird.
Yeah.
I could not hear anything. She never kicked when I put my hand on her belly. Nothing like that. It was nothing like that. It was always she would feel like, yeah, babe, feel your hand. Stop kicking.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, man, so I never felt
She
I think
knew
I
evil.
felt it like once. It's weird. Yeah, exactly.
So here comes the big guy.
Yeah.
I think I felt it once, barely, but I don't even know if I felt that or not.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
It was gas.
it was gas. So it was so finally it was one time where she went to the doctor and she's like, hey, I'm not feeling the baby kick and certain things that as Katie gets along, as your wives got along when they were pregnant, they know they're normal. Okay,
For
this is
sure.
what's going on with the
Yep.
baby. They could feel it.
Yep.
So when they stop feeling that normal routine from the baby, they know
Right. Something's not right.
something's not right. So that's exactly what happened with Liza. So the doctor said, hey, look, if you're not feeling the baby kick or something like that, just, come back. But we already had the bags ready to go, ready to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So finally, same thing that night. Liza was like, something's up. I'm not feeling the baby kick. We could hear the heartbeat through the little machine,
Yeah.
but she did not feel the baby kick. So she's like, let's go. Now, we lived in San Diego at the time. All right. Her hospital, her OBGYN was in Orange County. She's had that same doctor for years.
Okay.
So she's like, babe, I don't want to change it to San Diego. I'll just go up there for my checkups. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You feel comfortable. That's fine.
Yeah.
You have history and all that. So we drove all the way to Orange County, California to give birth to our baby.
Oh, wow.
So here, one of her friends was like, hey, we're going to take, we had Rue, our dog. So obviously one of the friends like, hey, we'll take Rue when you guys, ready to deliver. So obviously she's having issues. And she's like, hey, this might happen. This might happen earlier than we thought. And I was like, that's fine. So we packed the car, bags in the car, and we put the dog in the car. We drive up to Orange County, call up her friend, and she's like, yeah, I can't take the dog.
Thank you.
And I'm like, great.
Appreciate
All right. So during that time, everybody was afraid of everything. Okay. So once you walk into those hospital doors, you cannot come out.
Oh yeah.
You cannot come out. So she goes, okay, you need to go back down to San Diego. She found this like hotel dog daycare and come back up.
For reference, how far is that drive?
About an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on traffic.
Oh, that's nice.
South, okay?
So you're running around.
She's admitted in the
Yeah.
hospital. I'm in the car with the dog, and I'm going, now,
That's a good time.
Eliza-
Just open the door.
dude, trust me, bro. I was so Eliza. You know, I hold my anger pretty well. If I'm angry, I don't get mad. It takes a lot to get me mad. But at that time, because you know what kind of screwed me is all the TV shows we watch, where you know, I'm pregnant, and within a few minutes they give birth.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm thinking I'm about to miss the birth of my first kid.
Yeah.
You know, to take this fucking dog to
Yeah.
a hotel.
To a hotel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down 2 hours away, then
Right.
another 2 hours back.
Right.
So I was frustrated. I was like, and that was, she brings it up. She goes, that was the first time I've ever seen you like livid.
Yeah.
I was like, well, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to miss the birth of my kid. You know what I mean? And during that time, it was very strict. So things could have changed on a dime where I could come back and they go, sorry, we can't let you in.
Right, for sure.
You know, and I told him, I said, if that happens, I'm going to burst through those doors. I don't care. Arrest me. I don't care. I
Right.
want to see my daughter being born. Like, I don't care. So driving all the way to San Diego, drop the dog at the hotel, drive all the way back up late at night. I'm going like 100 miles an hour, dude. I'm just like, I'm just speeding. Go up to the hospital. Obviously, she hasn't given birth yet. Like, okay, good. So they got her hooked up to all this stuff. Well, they're noticing the baby's heartbeat is not doing good. Okay. So they give her Pitocin. Pitocin made it actually worse.
Yep.
So they go, okay, this baby needs to come out. So they go through, you know, the next day, they go, if this doesn't change, next day, get a C-section, and Sarah's born. Okay. And so we get in the most craziest thing, man. To go back to that time and put on the smock, put on the little hats, put on all that stuff. And then a nurse says, okay, sir, wait right outside. So they're hooking her up. They're doing all the stuff that they do inside. And I'm outside waiting for the nurse to come and tell me to come in. And I'm going, you know, I'm thinking, once again, I'm going to, you know, they maybe forgot about me or something like that. 'Cause it felt like, it was only like a few minutes, but it felt like hours.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Seeing this, like, your wife's about to give birth to your kid. So they bring me in. I go outside. I stand behind the little curtain, right? And I have my phone up here, right? Recording everything.
Oh, nice.
My wife was like, don't drop it in me. Her fear was dropping the phone inside her.
My bad.
Wow,
Can you get that for me real quick?
I don't have gloves on. Can you grab that?
That was her fear. That was her
no
fear.
doubt. Yeah.
But didn't happen.
So she was awake during the C-section?
She was awake during the C-section, yeah. She didn't feel anything in all the medicines and stuff.
Right.
But she was awake, yeah. So baby's born. Baby comes up, blue hands and blue feet. We thought this was normal. We didn't know. We didn't really take all the classes you're supposed to take because of COVID. It was a lot of stuff was online and all that stuff. It was not the normal pregnancy that normal people have.
All right.
Baby came out with blue hands, blue feet. Nurses were concerned. They were concerned about her sugar, her blood levels, and different other aspects of it. But they weren't. It was weird because you could tell there was something more that the nurses knew. They just didn't want to tell us.
Of course, yeah.
So you see them huddling up with the doctors and stuff, and they go, oh, you know, her blood sugar is a little bit high, and different other, you know, things that they thought they might happen. So they go, we're going to admit her to NICU. Eliza was like, that's not a big deal. It was only off by like 1%. It was nothing big, but they're like, we're going to admit her. And I was like, she was panicking.
Yeah.
So I go with the baby in NICU. Baby was there for about a day and a half, 2 days in NICU. And up right upstairs, and Eliza's still resting from her C-section. And the craziest thing is when the doctors pull chairs around you and say, we need to talk, you know, it's not good news. So they call us, and they say, hey, you need to get your wife. We need to talk. So what happened was a nurse was, and if it wasn't just for that one nurse, we don't know what would happen to Sarah. One nurse was a little bit more concerned than the others.
Okay.
And they go, I'm going to do a sonogram, an echo, and, a lot of different testing on this child. And that's when she discovered the heart issue, and she had congenital heart defect, CHD. And so that's when they go, okay, well, we can't do any work here. You have to go to a specialized hospital for the work she needs. So right at that time, we're with the doctors and around Sarah's bed with chairs. And it's crazy how the doctors it felt like it was like, it's weird. I can remember that, but then there's other things I don't remember. It's like staticky.
Yeah,
You
for
know, like
sure.
a nighttime TV show, and it's
Yeah.
all staticky, and back in the 60s,
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
so
my time.
but it's the doctors say there's a helicopter on the roof. Your daughter needs open heart surgery. They're going to transport her to a children's hospital. And you hear the helicopter blades coming down. And it's like everything in your life just changes on a dime. And it was crazy because you just see my wife and I just in this weird daze, like we don't believe it,
Oh, yeah.
So she goes in the helicopter. My wife was like, and then the doctors and nurses were like, hey, you need to go back to rest. My wife's like, screw you guys. We're leaving. We're
Right.
going to where our daughter's at.
Right.
And the doctors, nurses were like, I don't recommend that. They're like, sorry, it's going to happen. And I remember they're like, okay.
Thank you
So
for your concern.
Yeah,
but...
thank you for your concern, but I'm going
Yeah.
with my daughter. So they make a sign, a thing like you're leaving hospital without doctor's permission or
Yeah.
advice or whatever.
Right.
So like, well, let me help you. So they put tape on the C-section scar
That was
because it wasn't healed enough yet. It just
That's crazy.
Yeah, they put tape.
Yeah.
They actually told me, and I'm in this. You're in the most darkest time right now in
yeah.
life.
When
You're
it's
not
supposed to be the happiest.
thinking
Right.
You're not thinking straight. So the doctors and nurses are looking at me and they go, "You the husband?" I'm like, "Yes." Make sure that tape doesn't come off. Take a picture of it. So I took a picture of my wife's stomach with all this tape around it. This
Yeah.
medical tape. They go, "Make sure that you don't take this off. It doesn't come off, or else." I'm like, "What will happen?" And then they didn't tell me. And I was just like, I'm thinking, and my wife's
Yeah,
thinking she's just put together with tape.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're not even there. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we're in the car, we're on the freeway. You see the helicopter up above us, and we're just praying. We're just praying. That's all we could do. Just
Right.
pray and just drive.
Right.
We get there. She arrives.
How far was this
About
journey?
an hour and 45 minutes.
They went back to San Diego?
Back to San Diego. Yeah.
Good
So
gosh.
back to
Okay.
San Diego, we check in the children's hospital, bring her into their NICU area where they do all these, heart. They call it the CTICU. So they do all this like heart issues and surgeries and stuff like that. They don't even know what's going on yet, so they tell us, "Hey, go home and we'll let you know what's going on after our testing." So imagine having someone telling you go home and rest and take it easy, and you're just in the most.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah, that's
I
not
thought the
possible.
last one said your daughter needs open heart surgery.
Right.
Exactly. So we go home, and because there was no bedroom yet, she wasn't in a bed area. It was just like where all those emergency people were at.
Okay.
So it was nothing for us to lay down. She wasn't like admitted into a room
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
And so we go home, we rest, we're just praying, we're crying. I've never seen my wife in such distraught.
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
trying to hold it together, and it was just it's hard.
For sure.
You're having your kid, this first kid, and
Yeah.
all this stuff's about to happen.
Right.
So she had to gain a little bit more weight to have the surgery. So about 10 days after she was born, after she was there, she gained enough weight, and they have the surgery. And I remember it was the most craziest thing. The surgeon comes in, and it looked like a mafia. He had himself in front, and then all the nurses and doctors behind him. Like he was a president, and they were Secret Service behind him. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He walks in, he's on his phone, and he goes, "How you doing?" I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm doing your daughter's heart surgery. And I looked at him. I'm like, "Hey, have you ever done this before?" And he goes, and he just looks down on his phone, just completely doesn't say anything. And I'm like, "What the hell, dude?" Like in my head, I'm like, "Get off your phone!" Like I'm trying
Yeah,
to
for
talk to
sure.
you. Like I'm worried. Me and my wife don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. And he just looks at me, and he goes, "This is what I do." And I'm like, "Okay then, okay then." Like
Yeah.
if he came up to me, and he goes, "I think we could try."
Yeah,
We'll try.
yeah.
I'd be like, "Give me another doctor."
Yeah, for sure.
But he looked at me with the most confident, like, "This is what I do."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, all right,
Right,
all
right.
right, you got it."
For sure.
And sure enough, after an 8-hour bypass surgery,
Good gosh.
8 hours of us waiting in the waiting room, just praying, and
Yeah.
I don't know what more we could do, just waiting.
Right.
Surgery comes out, and he goes, "Everything went good." We had to put a conduit in her heart. She's gonna have to have future heart surgery, since the reason why we're here in Texas. We don't know when.
Okay.
To change that as she gets older. But after months in the hospital to recover from that, and heal from that hardcore surgery, she went home with feeding tubes that went through her nose.
Oh wow.
And we had to pump feeds in her, and it was a 24-hour watch, man. One of us had to be up
Wow.
all the time. It was like the military, just changing duties. All right, you're sleeping for a few hours, you're sleeping for a few hours. It was like that for months. And while we're trying to take leave and still work a little bit as much as we
Right,
can,
right.
so it was just, we were,
Rough.
it was rough. But it was crazy, though, is that I didn't feel any of that during the hospital. And she was in the hospital for a few months. During the hospital time, I didn't feel like it was just like my focus was on her. We're switching off shifts, spending the night there and all that. It wasn't until we came home where that dark time fell on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed where when she's on, I mean, we had a whiteboard in the living room. We bought a whiteboard on Amazon, put it on the living room, and just started writing all the medicines and everything she was on, which was a lot at certain times that we have to inject in her feeding tube. It was crazy.
Good gosh, yeah.
But it wasn't, I remember that my wife was like, hey, babe, it's time for a medicine. I remember standing at the kitchen counter and I just froze. And I just remember standing there just freezing. And my wife goes, you okay? I'm like, huh? Yeah. She goes, the medicine. I'm like, yeah. Because that's what I'm going through. My, when you go through the 5 stages of grief. And you don't have time to deal with that in the hospital.
Yeah,
it's not until you come home and you're just like,
right.
Oh my goodness, this is my kid.
It finally hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it took Eliza after we kind of got Sarah going, doing good, feeding tubes off. She got a G tube, like she has a little scar still. That was through there. She had that for a while. And then Eliza got hit with that. And then you kind of noticed that. And she's doing better now and seeing how our daughter's doing now and how amazing she's doing now.
For sure.
But, and she's, we go through cardiology every 6 months and, hey, every time we get that clearance, we come out there, we're just
God,
like, thank God, we're just ecstatic. But the question that, I want you guys to answer, as we close out Heart Month with that story and, is how do you overcome a dark time in a marriage, in a relationship? And it could be any dark time. It could be medical. It could be financial. It could be, cheating. It could be anything that just took that marriage, that took that relationship and just crushed it.
Right.
For something that maybe could be out of your control. How do you deal with that? How do you go through a relationship and marriage when life just takes it and just tries to destroy it?
Okay. So let me start this by, how did you make it out of that?
It took, I think for that situation, it actually helped us.
Okay.
Because we actually prayed together. We actually helped each other. We actually said, hey, you know what? We're going to have to get through this. We have to get through this. We had to get through it for our daughter. The typical, all your needs that you would want, the gym, the going out to eat, all that just went away.
For sure.
I didn't go to the gym for like 8 months during that time. During that time, my workout, I gained so much weight because I just didn't care. You're eating junk food, you don't care.
Right.
So yourself, your stuff that you would normally want to do for yourself drops.
Right.
Your kid and your wife is what you need to focus on the most.
For sure.
And helping her, making sure she's okay, making sure my daughter's okay, that's what matters the most. And I felt that with my mindset of having that actually helped our marriage.
There you go.
And it wasn't until years later that my wife would actually say, hey, remember that time you froze up? And there was a few times where I almost put the wrong medicine in her. There was a few times where I had put feeds in her and the feeding tube was about to be out. And I was not paying attention because I was going through my dark time.
Right.
And obviously she got upset because she has every right, because you're talking about,
for sure.
Any wrong little thing you could do could hurt the baby even more. But it wasn't until years later where she's like, you were going through it during that time.
Right.
You were freezing up. You were not paying attention because it was like, you're going through the 5 stages of grief,
right.
And with that understanding and with us helping each other and just removing any need for yourself that you want, I think I had maybe 3-4 hours of sleep a night for months while we're doing this 24-hour shift thing. Showed her that you're in a team with me. You're here with me. And I think that helped our marriage strengthen than anything else.
For sure. So I see how you helped the family out. How did she help? How did you get out of that? I mean, because you did exactly what you need to do, and I've never been through what you've been through. I'm sorry that you're talking about. Got to be one of the darkest times, right? I mean,
life-altering problem.
Life, right? So I mean, because you could say, okay, your wife cheated on you. Okay, that sucks and all, but I mean, It's not that.
Right.
I mean, sure, and it can, and people could get extremely dark, during that time, and obviously, and even take their own lives
Yeah.
in that or whatever. So, but at this point, you're not thinking of yourself. You're thinking about your child and your wife, and you're trying to crawl, get them to, well, your wife out of this one because your baby's just too small to even realize anything that's going on. So you're really trying to help your wife. So you're doing a lot of self sacrifice, and you're doing everything for them in this situation. But it's not just something you did that upset her. It's something that you're both going through,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you're self sacrificing to help her, but how did you crawl out of that? How did you get out of that?
It took a lot of just sacrificing my own needs, but helping and just seeing the love of my kid and seeing her
Okay.
and making sure she's okay, making sure my wife's okay. That's what
There you
helped
go.
me get through that time.
Okay.
And seeing my, the feeding tube went away, and one
Yeah.
medicine went away,
There you go.
and another medicine went away, and another medicine went away. That kind of was like,
There you
So
go.
you're seeing all that
You're
you're putting
seeing-
into it. It's coming back
you're
to
seeing the
you.
light at
and-
the end of the tunnel,
Yeah, there
kind of
you
getting
go.
brighter and brighter, brighter. And now she's only one medicine.
Yeah.
And the little girl eats so much. It's
Yeah,
insane.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's like you see that now, and you're just like,
Yeah.
And it's crazy because my wife will bring up stories. I'm like, I think that's the biggest thing. I can't remember a lot. Like
Right.
when I'll talk about it, when I see pictures, I remember it. But a lot of little things are static, and it's not till someone talks about, man, that's right. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I think you block it, like you block trauma.
Right.
You block all that stuff just because you don't want it. That was the hardest probably time. That was one of the hardest probably times in my life where you
Sure.
just don't want to remember that. Especially when it comes to your kid.
It's your kid.
And even there's a time we actually almost lost her
Right.
24 hours after surgery, and that was while the doctors are working on her and trying to help her. And I remember that my wife looked at one of the nurses like, "What's going on?" The nurse is like, "Don't worry, we'll get her back." What happened to her? What? And
Yeah.
thank God they did, and
Yeah.
they were there at the right time. But
For sure.
it was during that part helped our marriage get stronger.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's just
Yeah, I think you did everything right in that situation because I think, well, obviously, it's a different situation. But if you want to talk about relationships or any other dark times, most people focus on themselves. Because if especially if you feel like you're the one who got the raw deal out of it, whatever, right? Whatever that thing is. But if you're really trying to work that situation out and you really want it to work, whatever it is, you have to make a lot of self-sacrifice. It's not about you; it's about us, right?
Mhm.
So, and that means making them feel better about things. Working through them to putting your feelings aside and working through your issues. It's not easy, and what you're doing is it's not easy. Because you were hurting yourself, but you knew what you needed to do for her, for your child, and you worked through that. But just in any kind of relationship, any kind of situation, if you're in your dark times, it's so easy to focus on woe is me, right?
right.
This sucks for me, and and I've been there and stuck. Thankfully not in my not it hasn't happened to me in quite some time. Definitely not in the situation I'm in, the situation, my marriage that I'm in now.
Situation.
Not a situation, but the marriage I'm in now. I'm very happy, and we've been very happy.
Right.
But I have been in that thing, and I've learned a lot going through those dark times.
Yeah.
Because you get so self focused a lot of times in that because it's just like, well, what are you gonna do for me? What are you gonna do for
Right.
me?
Right.
And that's not helping anybody,
No.
unfortunately. So you have to take a step back. Think about the other people. So you remove yourself from the equation and try to make the situation better. And just like seeing progress started making you feel better. Seeing things working out, seeing that other person smile makes you start feeling better. So you kind of crawl yourself out of it doing it that way.
And to all the parents that are watching this and seeing the segment that have medical kids that have situations that they've dealt with, and I see that every time we go to the children's hospital for checkups.
Sure. Yeah.
Way worse than
Yeah.
Sarah,
Right.
and we I look at Sarah and I'm like, man, she's done so well, but then I see other kids that they're still, with a colostomy bag or pipes and tubes and things like that, oxygen, and your heart just breaks, your heart just goes, man, because you're not just feeling it for them.
Yeah.
What those parents are
Yeah.
going through. Day in, day out what that life is. And all I could say is, my prayers are with you, and you guys are just the most awesome parents going through that, because I know for just that short amount of time what it's like. And you guys are dealing with this daily.
Yep.
For whatever reason is wrong with your kids. And my heart goes out with you. And I'm just, my prayers are with you guys every single day, because it is hard.
Yep.
It is mentally hard.
It
It
takes
is
very
physically
strong
hard.
people.
It takes very strong people. It takes patience.
Yeah.
And, all I could do is just pray and you guys are just doing amazing as a family, as a mom and dad, or even a single family, or whatever that situation is. You just keep it up, because that kid depends on you. So thank you.
Wow, that was rough. That was deep, man. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's Heart Month. Just wanted to close it out with that story. But yeah, so
that was a deep that was a deep
good.
story.
Yeah, it was.
I want to thank you guys for watching our episode tonight. I'm Jason, Jonathan, Pedro. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for subscribing and tuning in to us.